Hello, I'm Alan, welcome to the Guitar Shack. Today's video is just a short one. I'm going to document the process as I prepare this 2021 Epiphone inspired by Gibson ES335 figured for sale in my Reverb shop. This is a guitar that I bought new in 2021. I pre-ordered it when it came out because I've been a long-term fan of Epiphone semi-acoustics, as you can see. I've had Epiphone versions, I've had Gibson versions, I've had 335s, 339s, Sheratons, Casinos. I haven't had a Riviera, I need to get one of those. But basically I have been playing these guitars for 20 odd years, and I was excited by the updates that they were doing with the Inspired by Gibson series. So these guitars are an update of the Dot model, which is this one and this one, which have been around since the late 90s. Brilliant guitars, really comfortable to play, good value for money, and great value used as well. But the Inspired by Gibson ones took it a step further, so they added a bunch of extra refinements. I mean, the biggest criticism that the Dots got was really for the pickups, which I quite like. I think they're warm, they've got a nice heft to them, and they're really good for jazz, really good for kind of indie rock, sort of blues, but they don't take gain brilliantly, and you know, some people find them a bit dark, is the common criticism. So these ones come with a new generation of Epiphone pickups, Alnico Classic Pros, which are Epiphone's version of, I think, Gibson 57s. I mean, it's a different flavour of path pickup, but they're a bit brighter, they're a bit more clarity, they're really nice pickups. A lot of people who would have said, I will replace the pickups in a Dot, will say, I will keep the pickups in one of these. The other things that they've got is, they've got upgraded wiring, so it's all CTS and Switchcraft in there. They've got closing style tuners, which is more of a different style really. The Grovers on Dots are fine, and because this is the sort of top of the range model, it's got the figured top, which is a really lovely finish, and it's also got the bound neck and the block markers, the sort of mid-60s style small blocks, which again look brilliant. So this is a really pretty guitar. And the other big change was the shape of the headstock. So they came with this smaller headstock, which is more like a Gibson, and I think for that reason is more popular. So these are great guitars. They're starting to appear on the used market now. I got this one new, as I said, and it's great. So I've done a lot of work on it. When it arrived, it was pretty good, but it needed a bit of work. The frets were decent, they didn't need any levelling. I think from memory I did a bit of rounding off of the edges, and I gave them a good polish, but that was mainly what they needed. So it needed a full setup, as new guitars do. And if you want to see what was done to it, this actually features as the kind of template in a comparison video which I've just done on the setup that I did to this blue one, which was brand new and which I've just put through the full setup process. So everything you can see that I did to that, apart from putting on the trem, is what I did to this a couple of years ago. And the reason that I'm selling it is not because I don't like it, but just because I've decided to keep that one, having acquired it and was going to you know, set it up and sell it on. I've decided that I prefer the colour scheme on that. That's the only reason, otherwise they're identical guitars, and now that that's fully set up, it plays as well as this one. So let's get into it. This needs less work than a lot of the guitars that I put through my workshop. It's already had it done. So it's had a setup, it's had the whatever work it needed on the fretboard, and you know, just generally it just needs a deep clean, and that's what I'm going to be doing to it, and then I'm going to be listing it. But you know, what you're getting here is a properly played in, properly set up, excellent example of this kind of guitar. They're not that common on the used market yet, but they're starting to appear. The ones that I've seen have tended not to have any work done to the nut, in a lot of cases you see them and they haven't yet been intonated. This one came with a sort of comedy straight line intonation, so you can tell they've never been set up like a lot of guitars bought off the internet, and that's fine because they play nicely out of the box, but you can make them a lot better, and this one is a lot better because it's had that work done to it. So now what I'm going to do is deep clean it, restring it, check all the setup, and then I'm going to be listing it on my Reverb shop. So basically my process is that I de-string it, I get it all opened up. I opened up all the cavities, not that there's many to actually access on one of these, which is one of the bugbears of 335 style guitars. You've got very limited access, but I clean everything thoroughly. I polish it all up with 3 coats of wax eventually. So one coat when I first clean it, second coat when I've put it all back together, and then third coat when I dispatch it to the customer. I deep clean all the electronics and make sure that they're all with switch cleaners to make sure that they're all functioning correctly. I get in underneath all, like the pickup rings for example, where dirt can kind of accumulate over the years. I just try and get it back to as, you know, from the factory standard of finish as possible on a used guitar. But obviously because of the setup work that it's had done to it, or that I do to it as part of this process for most guitars, then it's better than new from that perspective. It comes with a new set of Ernie Ball strings, and I'm not going to make you sit through the entire process, but I'll do some of it on time lapse just so you can see the actual work that's been done to it. So this fretboard, I'm going to clean it, I'm going to condition it, and I'm going to polish up the frets. The frets themselves are in good shape. It plays low and fast with this action, so I'm not going to change any of the settings here, but I will confirm the settings and the setup when I put it back together again. Normally I set them up from scratch, but I know that this one's in really good shape anyway, so I don't need to do that. What I do want to do though is to get into all the nooks and crannies and crevices where, you know, just stuff builds up over time and it never quite gets cleaned off. And it might never do again, but I like to try, if I'm going to do a deep clean on one of these things, I like to try and get it to get into everywhere so that it's sort of resetting the clock on its aging process. That might be overstating it a little bit, but you know what I mean. Right, so I'm going to leave those levels there. I've got plenty of access under the knobs, so I'm not going to take the knobs off the way I would do with a Fender, because I can get in and clean those underneath there. I'll take the access cover off for the truss rod, because I might need to give that a tweak, we'll see. Shouldn't do, but 2 minutes to get in there, and again it's just about cleaning where you can't normally. And then I'll get into the pickup cavities and I'll give mainly just, I mean, I know these are the original pickups, but usually I like to get them out just to check what's in there if I bought the guitar second hand, and then I'll just check it, all the bushings are tight, that the switch is tight. I'll clean everything thoroughly. I'll then oil the board, polish the frets, wax the guitar, put it all back together again. So this is inside the pickup cavities, and it's just a good example of why I do this, because you can see the amount of crud that's just sort of accumulated around the holes and so on, which is just, if I'm going to do this level of cleaning, might as well get in there and get rid of that too. These are the original Alnico Classic Pro pickups, which I am well aware of because I bought the guitar new, but it's always good to check. And you can see that inside you've got the usual Epiphone stickers as part But the build process, nice clean routing, nicely finished guitars, and then overall, I mean, it's pretty much an immaculate guitar. I have had it from new, I have very much looked after it. It does get cleaned down after every play, and it does get a good thorough clean and restring regularly. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is just give the frets a polish. Now these have all been polished before, it hasn't been levelled, so it doesn't need the more aggressive grits, but just using the fret rubber and the fret shield, just giving it a good polish up, just to bring them up to a mirror-like shine. It's usually best to do this after you've lemon oiled, because that then means that there's some protection in the wood from all the little bits of rubber and shavings and so on, which come off from this, but it brings it up nicely. I won't bore you with the whole process because it takes a while. So there we have it, ready to go. So the guitar is deep cleaned, polished, it's been fully set up, it's absolutely immaculate, mint condition, and better than new. So this will be going on my Reverb shop within the next week. So it'll be listed as it is. It didn't come with a case. I do have a hard case available, which can be purchased as an extra. And if you're buying it remotely, I would recommend that you do so I can put it in that and send it to you. And if you're watching this through YouTube, not through Reverb, and you want to contact me directly, that's also fine. But basically, lovely guitar. I'll be sad to see it go, but you know, I have other ones, and if you're interested in any of these other ones that I have as well, then get in contact. Hope that was helpful, and thanks for watching. See you soon.